and welcome to this online workshop. I'm excited that you're here. Let's get started. How to thrive through midlife, a simple path to healthier habits. Sometimes we can go through midlife feeling like this on the left, right? Kind of frustrated and discouraged. Sometimes we can feel like the picture on the right, where we're excited about this stage. In this workshop, I'd like to teach you how you can go from being a little frustrated to being more excited. Now, life has its ups and downs. It's not always going to feel exciting, but I'd like to give you the tools that you can use to go from feeling overwhelmed with this stage to being excited. This information is for educational and informational purposes only and solely as a self-help tool for your own use. I am not providing medical, psychological, or nutrition therapy advice. You should not use this information to diagnose or treat any health problems or illnesses without consulting your own medical practitioner. Always seek the advice of your own medical practitioner and or mental health provider about your specific health situation. So who am I? I'm definitely not a medical provider, as I indicated. I am a fellow midlifer. I went through menopause at age 41. I had the weight gain, the mood swings, the hot flashes. I got diagnosed with osteoporosis and pre-diabetes. The circumstances in my life as I hit midlife were becoming challenging. Parenting, adolescence, caring for aging parents, the death of a parent, career burnout. This all really started to hit me, and I thought, oh my gosh, this whole midlife stage, it's got to be better than this. It has to be able to be just a little bit better. And I was very overwhelmed, realizing that the ways that I was taking care of myself or dealing with stress, etc., were really not going to serve me well as I was going through all of these other midlife changes. So I was determined to try to help myself. So why do I care? Why am I sharing this with you? Because I wanted to learn to help myself so I could help other women. Because a lot of my friends were also going through midlife, family members, coworkers, and we hear all the time online about how stressful this time can be. So I thought, you know what? We've all made it to our 40s, 50s, 60s. We deserve to be able to live the best midlife that we can. I'm not saying perfect in anything, but just know how to make it a little bit better and thrive. So why listen to me? Well, I've been there, I care, and I went and got trained to become a certified health and life coach, trained in habit formation, and I've done over 100 coaching calls in the last 5 years since I've been certified. I have this little side business. This is really a passion project of mine. This isn't my main employment. Yes, I charge a fee for some of my services, but I have helped women over the last 5 years with this simple process and have been able to partner with them to help them have some success. And I am excited to help you as well. Here's what you'll learn in this workshop. The one thing you need to do to thrive during this stage, why you need to do this, and how to do it in your own life in 3 simple steps. Now, before I tell you the one thing you need to do, and it's not this on this slide, I need to make sure that we are all in agreement and understanding that basically to thrive in midlife, one very powerful thing you can do is make some simple lifestyle changes. And I think we all know that, right? I think we all know that how and what we eat, how much we sleep, how much we exercise, how we manage our self-care, how we deal with stress. I think we're all aware that making lifestyle changes can help us at any age, really. How you cope with stress, how you sleep, how you eat, how you move, how you relax, how or even if you practice self-care can positively or negatively impact your hormones, your weight, your mood, the severity of your hot flashes, energy, relationships, everything, basically, right? Lifestyle medicine, That's actually a thing I didn't know about until about 5 or 6 years ago. Lifestyle medicine offers proof that you can feel better and make these changes in your body, in your hormones, by making some lifestyle changes. Now, disclaimer again, I'm not a medical provider, nutritionist, mental health provider. I'm not making any statement about whether or not you should take any hormone replacement therapy or any other pills or alternative therapies. That's your business. I'm simply saying that making lifestyle changes, and a lot of this has been proven, there's lots of great books on it, adding some lifestyle changes to all the other stuff maybe you're doing that your doctor's having you do can help you feel better. But there's a problem with these lifestyle changes. And again, you're probably with me, right? Yes, I know that if I can make some of these lifestyle changes, I can feel better. But there's a big problem with these lifestyle changes, and I wonder if you know what it is. What is the problem with making lifestyle changes? You don't know how to make lifestyle changes, I'm guessing, right? Because we're not taught how to actually go from this is where I am right now and this is where I want to be and how to get there, how to make those changes. No one taught me how to do it. No one teaches you a simple and doable process for making lifestyle changes, for losing weight, for getting better sleep, for exercising more. You just set a goal around a lifestyle change, which we've all done, right? Like, I'm going to lose weight. I read about this diet, or I'm going to join this gym. I know I want to exercise more, or self-care. I think I want to start meditating, or I read that if I, turn my phone off before I go to sleep, etc. We set a goal and we just start trying to do it, but we eventually struggle. Those New Year's resolutions, right? I love them. I still do. I used to love them. Or that I'm starting fresh on Monday, or it's January. We just set a goal, right? But there's no process for doing it. We just set it and go. There's no process for how am I getting from where I am now to meeting that New Year's resolution, right? No one teaches us how to do it. No one teaches you how to get your own results that work in your life, not the way the person in the book did it or the person that you heard on the podcast, but how can you get your own results? No one teaches you how to bring balance back into your life and your hormones, right? And so life is going to happen, right? I'm not talking about some perfect way of eating or perfect way of being. Life gets messy, things come up, recognizing, ooh, my sleep's a little out of balance, my eating's a little out of balance, my life's a little out of balance. How do I bring it back into balance? Again, not some perfect fake way of being, but no one teaches us how to balance our life a little bit better. We just get bombarded with more information, right? You just get more information. Now, I love information as much as the next gal. I've read so many books. I love to Google things, and we can all access information, right? Hey, what's the best diet for someone in menopause? What are the best exercises for a 55-year-old with knee pain? Or I can go to physical therapy and my physical therapist would tell me, or my doctor's going to tell me the information I need. We get bombarded with information and it's out there for free. But there's a problem with all this information. Information alone doesn't lead to change, right? You can have all the information. I had all the books. I was reading a ton of books about all these lifestyle changes, but it didn't mean I was going to be able to make them, right? You can learn about a certain diet or way of eating to lose weight, but it doesn't mean you'll be able to start eating that way and stick with it. You can join a gym. You can buy that app on your phone, but it doesn't guarantee you'll use it consistently or you'll go long enough to see the muscle gain, the weight loss, or whatever the results are that you want. Left on your own, you likely eventually fizzle out. You can try to force yourself into taking certain actions. And, oh, I was good at this, right? Like, I'm going to do this. I'm going to force myself. Like, I could force myself for probably a month, even 2 months, right? But you're in that like, oh, this is it. It's going to be an uphill battle starting Monday, whatever. But at some point, you just can't stick with it long enough to see results. It becomes too hard. It's not your fault. It doesn't mean you're not motivated. It doesn't mean you can't achieve those goals. It means you need to learn one thing. The one thing you need to thrive in your midlife, to make those lifestyle changes, is to learn how to form new habits, the way your brain wants to do it. And here's the good news. You don't have to push yourself. You don't have to deprive yourself. You don't have to take an all or nothing approach. You don't have to spend a lot of time. You don't have to strive for unrealistic goals and unrealistic perfection. I used to do all those things, right? Push myself, deprive myself. Like, I got to go all in. This is going to take so much time. And I've got to do it perfect. No, take a deep breath, my friend. You don't have to do this to actually form habits. That's the best news. You can do this in your everyday life. You can do this when you have deadlines and you have to work late. You can do this if you're shuffling kids around or attending doctor's appointments with aging parents. You can do this in your real world everyday life. So I want you to ditch the struggle, my midlife friend, because it's not necessary. So, why do you need to learn how to form habits? Like I said, they're going to get you to those lifestyle changes. But why do we need to learn how to actually form them? So you can take the steps you need to reach your goals. So you can stay in action long enough to get that habit, to get the results. To get results with your weight, with your mindful eating, with your exercise, your sleep, your stress management, your self-care. You need to learn how to form habits so you can get results. I use the science behind habit formation. I love some science. So I'm a speech language pathologist. That field is rooted in science. So I loved learning the science behind habit formation. It makes it easier to set goals and reach them when you use the science behind how your brain wants to form habits. And why do we need habits? Because our brain doesn't have to work so hard. And we don't want our brain to have to work so hard to make these lifestyle changes, especially when we're in our 40s, 50s, and 60s, right? Understanding how habits are formed is the difference between making lifestyle changes and getting the results from those and giving up frustrated after a month or two. Let me just let that sink in. Understanding how habits are formed is the difference between making lifestyle changes or giving up frustrated. And as I mentioned, it's why I chose the Health Coach Institute, or HCI, to become a habit-trained coach, because I realized after about 5 years of struggling through my 40s that, okay, I'm on board with these lifestyle changes, but I don't know how to do it. So I was in a year-long training program with a focus on habit formation. So how do you form habits so you can get results and thrive? My programs teach women how to form habits so they can plug in their goals. And I have taken it to a process that I've developed after 5 years of tweaking it and coaching women, something that's easy and simple. You need a wheel and a triangle, my friend. You need a wheel and a triangle to learn this process. The midlife wheel is something that we were taught. It was the life wheel, but I'm catering it to midlife, where you take a look at each area of mostly your health and well-being, and you figure out how satisfied you are in that area, and you choose one area to target. Here is the midlife wheel, and I can send this to you in an email if you'd like. It's basically you can draw a circle and put some spokes through it, and there are dots there. So we're looking at movement, eating, fun and connection, sleep, stress management, and self-care. There are 2 other spokes of the wheel that say other, that over time women can add something else that they would like to focus on, whether it's hobbies, finances, etc. But we start with one of these areas listed here. And you put an X on one of the dots. You put an X on a dot towards the outer circle if you're more satisfied with that area right now, and an X on a dot that's towards the inner circle if you're less satisfied. And this helps you see what areas of your life you might want to start focusing on with forming a habit and making some lifestyle changes. And we just choose one, my friend. A lot of times we want to go all in. Yes, I'm going to start eating healthy and exercising more, and that's great. But we focus on one target area for 6 weeks. But here is the fantastic news about that. How you do one thing is how you do everything. That was a big thing that they repeated in my training. So, how you do one thing is how you do everything. If you start making a tiny shift to feeling more satisfied by exercising more, then that's probably going to positively affect your sleep, right? If you make a shift towards eating healthier foods that give you energy, then that's probably going to have a positive effect on how much you move or feel like exercising. So one thing affects the other, and that's great. So you choose a target area for 6 weeks, and then you learn tips in each area based on that information I was talking about, right? So I'm not the expert, but I've read a lot of books. You probably also have your own information or ideas about what you'd like to do for healthy eating for you or movement. But I send short videos with just some tips and resources in that area. And I'm going to go through those areas really quickly right now. If you join my program, I send you a video lesson and handouts for whatever target area you chose for that 6 weeks. So I'm going to briefly go through these. Mindful eating was one of the crucial things I learned in my health and life coach training. How to have a healthy relationship with food, right? So when I was in my 20s and 30s, I could get by with stress eating a lot. Like, oh, I'm a little stressed, I'm going to go eat. And then as I was aging, I'm finding like digestion, weight gain, like, oh, maybe I need some other coping mechanisms. So learning about mindful eating is really important. And the side effects of mindful eating often result in weight loss, but mindful eating is a process. So definitely we think about what you eat, but my friend, it's not all about what you eat. Granted, that's important, what we put in our body, and what is healthy for one person may not be healthy for another. And it seems like sometimes the experts are changing on what's healthy or not. So you can determine based on your own needs what kinds of foods you like to eat. We talk about what food gives you energy and what food takes it away, rather than thinking a certain food is good or bad, or you're good or bad for eating it. But we also focus on why we eat, when we eat. Do you eat when you're stressed? Do you eat when you're actually hungry? Do you eat when you're bored? Do you eat because you just finished a project? Where do you eat? Do you eat somewhere crowded and stressful, or do you eat somewhere peaceful? Who are you being when you eat? And I'll tell you, my friend, I was a little skeptical of all of this until I really realized how changing some of my mindful eating really had a positive influence on my digestion, right? I was eating, quote, healthy food, but I was eating it distracted, rushed. I wasn't even really chewing it. I was shoveling it in, right? Not giving my body a chance to benefit from the nutrients, not giving my brain a chance to tell my body that I'm actually full because I'm just scarfing it in so fast. And how you eat, right? Taking a breath in between bites, taking smaller bites. So in the mindful eating, we talk about all of those things. There's a handout that I send and a little video with what I have learned about mindful eating. Another area that you can choose is movement, or formerly known as exercise, right? But we want to acknowledge all movement. I talk about the benefits of movement as we age, the consequences of not moving as we age. And again, I think we all know this. It's just, how do I develop a habit of this? So that's why I teach my simple system. One thing that surprised me is there's just different types of movement that we should seek, especially as we age, right? I used to think it was all about aerobics. I taught Zumba for 8 years. That's great. But I have osteoporosis, so I also need to think about strength training and stretching, or maybe some neuromotor movement. I talk about developing a movement menu of things that you can do, like summer movement, winter, things that you enjoy. We talk about a mental rehearsal. That's what professional athletes use to get them visualizing that outcome they want. So in that module, there's a handout and a lesson on different types of movement. Sleep is a target area that you can choose. Definitely many of us struggle with sleep as we age. So I talk about the benefits of getting good sleep and the consequences based on what I've read and the research that's out there. Sleep hygiene is important. One thing that helped me is just having my room cool and dark. Daytime activities affect your sleep. So I realized that if I could just stop and maybe take frequent little breaks throughout the day instead of kind of being in that amped up, high alert all day, that it really had a positive impact on my sleep. Different foods and drinks. So getting curious again, not saying like, hey, this is what Kathy does, so that'll help me, but starting to get curious about what you can do to help with your own sleep hygiene and throughout the day. So there's a handout and a module on that. Stress management is another area that folks choose. So again, I'm not a mental health professional, but I'm sharing, benefits of managing, especially those little stressors, right? So it's the little stressors that, I'm late for work, or I had to wait on a train, or my printer got jammed, or, whatever it might be, someone cut me off in traffic, how to balance those little stressors throughout the day so that I'm not going to food to help with those little stressors. I talk about creating a relaxer menu, so things that I can do to relax, stopping to just take 2 minutes to breathe. So I used to have a very stressful job in a medical setting where I just saw patients back to back all day, and I would leave like, it was really affecting my ability to relax in the evening. I was eating, like binge eating things, and once I started just stepping away, every hour or two, just for 2 minutes, 120 seconds is not long, my friend, then I really noticed the difference in kind of rechecking my cortisol throughout the day. So stress management is an area that folks can also choose to target. Self-care is another area, and it's more than just going and getting your nails done, although there's nothing wrong with that. So I talk about the benefits of self-care, the consequences of not doing regular self-care, and how that can lead to other things. There's different types of self-care. So physical self-care, practical, mental, professional self-care. So making those doctor's appointments, cleaning out that drawer, making your bed, whatever it might be, those things to just care for yourself can help keep you from doing things that are not really aligning with your health goals. Now, you tailor this to you, right? I'm not saying like everybody should get up and make their bed. If that's not important to you and that's not self-care to me, then you don't do that. That's the wonderful thing about my coaching program is we are tailoring this to what sounds like good action steps for you. And fun and connection. I'm the type of person that I definitely need to make sure I'm balancing my life with some fun and connection. I can get really into work projects and different things, and then I don't really stay connected with people or having that much fun, and then I start to turn to my ice cream or binge watching Netflix for fun. Now, there's nothing wrong with eating ice cream or binge watching Netflix. But if that's, not something that I wanted to do and I need some connection with other people and that's going to satisfy me. So making sure that we're taking time to actually connect with others and have some fun. If I go for a time period and I haven't really connected with people, then I just kind of lose track of what some of my other health priorities are. So again, I've just given you information. Now we're going to enter the best part, right? So you choose this target area. Again, you probably already know what target area you want. You already probably know the things, the actions that you want to take in that target area. So now we're going to get to how do I actually do this? So that is the Midlife Success Triangle, which is something I've come up with over the last 5 years. Through coaching women and through my habit training. Using the Midlife Success Triangle is the key to you forming habits around these target areas. The Midlife Success Triangle has 3 parts, and all parts are equally important, my friend. Taking action, which we know, but there's a right way to take action, and we're usually taking it the wrong way because we're going all in, we're pushing ourselves, and that doesn't help us form habit loops. So you need to learn how to take the right kind of action. You need to learn how to have a better thought. Now, just keep an open mind here, because when I was going through my training and I thought, oh my gosh, I'm paying thousands of dollars and they're talking about these mindset shifts. No, I just need to take action. No, my friend. Your brain wants your thoughts and actions to match. I'm going to say that again. For habit formation, your brain wants your thoughts and actions to match. So if I have an action step that I'm going to do this Pilates video, or I'm going to start, meditating, or I'm going to start meal planning, but my story I'm telling myself, and you know what I mean, we all have them. if my thought is, I can never stick with exercise, or I don't really have time to chop vegetables, then it's going to be hard for me to follow through with my action, and I'm going to have obstacles because my brain wants my thoughts and actions to match. So we need to create a better thought that it's easy to do Pilates. I can easily chop vegetables. We need to retrain that thought we're having. Otherwise, we're really going against that action. So we need to learn how to have the right kind of action, learn how to have a better thought, and we need the third part, which was hard for me because I was like, I can do this on my own. And we can for a while, but we need accountability and support. And in the beginning, we need to learn how to be accountable to ourselves, right? We're all accountable. We are grown women who are responsible. If I tell my neighbor I'm going to meet her at my driveway at 6:30 to walk, I'm going to meet her. If I can't meet her, I'm going to text her and reschedule. But if I just set a little goal for myself that I'm going to walk tomorrow morning, and then tomorrow morning comes and I'm like, I don't know, it's kind of cold out, or I kind of got into this little Instagram feed thing, and it's like, okay, nobody else really knew I was going to do it, right? If I have a deadline at work and I tell someone I'm going to meet it, I do. If I tell my mom I'm going to drive her to her doctor's appointment, I show up. So we need to learn how to be accountable to ourselves and to our own actions, and not just blow it off at the first, the first hint of it being a struggle or something coming up. We also need to get support. We need to get the right kind of support. And that's where my training as a habit and life coach comes in. So I used to support my friends, right? And it was like, yes, let's do this goal together. I'm going to push you, you push me. We're going to kind of get into a competition, and that's how I'm going to support you through this. That's not how habits are formed. Other extreme ways that we can support each other is I didn't do it. That's okay. You didn't do it. I didn't do it either. We're busy. It's okay. So the real support you need is not one extreme of you need to do it and I'm going to support you and push you. And it's not the other extreme of it's okay if you don't do it. So learning how to support yourself through obstacles and how to get coached through that. So to make lifestyle changes, to form these habits, you need to take the right kind of action, have a better thought, and get the right kind of accountability and support. So I'm going to talk briefly about what each of those might look like. And again, in my program, I send you a short little video, and you get a handout that you'll see on each slide talking about that. So action. If you're going to set an action the way your brain wants to form habits, so you can repeat this action, right? You're going to repeat this action for 6 weeks, right? So that you can start to get results. We need to set specific instructions. It's not just, I want to work out more. Well, what do I want to do? I want to do Pilates. I want to meditate. Well, okay, I want to meditate like once a day. Also, we need to start small. My friend, this is where we get ourselves, right? We start big, right? And I used to start big. It's like I'm going big or going home, right? If I'm not doing Pilates at all and I want to start doing Pilates, well, then I need to start doing it 5 times a week. If the experts are telling me I need at least 60 minutes a day of that, then I'm going to do it every day. No, you need to start small to end big. Doesn't mean we're going to stay small, but we're going to start small. If I'm not already doing Pilates, if I'm not already meal planning or chopping vegetables or whatever, then I need to start small. That's how my brain is going to form habits. So I need to do Pilates 1 time that week, right? I need to meditate once. I need to set aside 10 minutes to chop vegetables 1 time that week, not every day. Then once I meet that goal, my brain is happy, the habit loops start to form, and the next week I do it again, maybe once a week. Then maybe the second week I do it twice a week. So we want to start small to end big. We want to make it pleasurable, right? If your friend runs and that's how she exercises, but running doesn't sound pleasurable to you, find a movement or an exercise that's pleasurable to you. Habit loops form around pleasure. So we can't do this pushing. I don't really want to do this, but I think I should. Now, I will tell you, sometimes we have to do things, right, that aren't super pleasurable to get those health results we want. So, for example, I have osteoporosis, so I need to lift weights. I really don't get my jollies or pleasure out of lifting weights. It's just not something I've ever enjoyed, but I know I need to do it to keep my muscles strong and my bones strong. So I make it pleasurable. I love to listen to music, so I will put on music while I'm lifting those weights, or I'll watch a show while I lift those weights. Or I will think about how pleasurable it's going to be to continue to pick up my grandkids instead of use a walker. So I'm associating some pleasure with that. Or what we're all used to, I will reward myself, do something pleasurable after I do those weights. So it's like, oh, when I do my weights, then I can go, read this book or watch this show or whatever it is. So learning how to make it pleasurable, especially in the beginning. Keep track is also super important. I know it sounds silly, but many times when we're starting something new or we're doing something, we need to know. If I said I'm going to do Pilates 2 times that week and it's Thursday, it's nearing the end of the week, and I see I've only done it once, then I'm like, oh, okay, I didn't realize that. I need to get in one more time, right? Because we might just simply forget. Or the opposite can happen, which is great. I could end up at Friday and said I was going to do Pilates 2 times that week. And I see how I've kept track and put a check mark on it. And I've already done it 2 times. And it's like, oh, it's Friday. I've already done it twice. I can just do it one more time. And that's a bonus, right? The other thing we don't do is we don't anticipate obstacles, or we freak out when we have them, right? You are going to have obstacles. You're not normally doing a lot of these activities. These aren't habits. So we have to anticipate what might get in the way. So I might say I'm going to get up and do that Pilates video. What might get in the way of me doing it? Well, I might forget. I might scroll through Instagram on my phone. Okay, so how can I set myself up for success? I'll put a reminder in. I'll put a timer on my phone. I'll write a Post-it note. If I want to do self-care and maybe I want to start taking a bubble bath at night, okay, what might get in the way? Well, I haven't cleaned my tub for like 6 months, so there's hair and gook in it. So, okay, I need to maybe this week set a goal that I'm going to clean my tub so that next week I can have that bubble bath. So we need to anticipate the obstacles so that we can set ourselves up for success, so that we're not just out there like blindly trying to push ourselves into this action. What's going to get in your way? And how can you set yourself up for success? And then we need to celebrate the tiniest win, my friend, right? If I do 10 minutes of the 45-minute video of Pilates, I need to be super excited that I did the 10 minutes, right? Celebrate the small win. Celebrating the small win is going to get me to that bigger win. If I just focus on, I only did 10 minutes of the 45-minute Pilates, there's a whole 35 minutes I didn't even do. That's not going to be the way that my brain wants to continue to take that action. So we celebrate these smallest wins so that you can stay in action towards forming those habit loops. So a lot more on action and handouts, but that is part of the triangle. Thought is part of the triangle. We need to be aware that we're even having that negative thought, right? Even being conscious that, well, deep down, I don't really think I'm going to be able to exercise or turn my phone off before bed or meal plan. We need to be aware that we're telling ourselves this old story, right? Because maybe from past experience, we think, yeah, I always struggle with this. This is new, my friend. We're creating a new story through an affirmation. So I'll use an example. I used to think that eating healthy was complicated and then I didn't have time to do it. That was just my mantra, right? Eating healthy is complicated. I don't have time. So I could set the best action step, but if I really thought that eating healthy was complicated and I didn't have time, my brain wants my thoughts and actions to match. So it would feel complicated. I would get home and it's like, it's already 6 o'clock. I don't have time. Yep, eating healthy is complicated and I don't have time. Then it would be hard for me to do the action. So I wrote an affirmation. It's simple, my friend. You're just flipping it. I thought eating healthy was complicated and I didn't have time. I changed that to eating healthy is simple. I have time. And I wrote that on a Post-it note. And that was my new story that I needed to tell myself every day. I put a Post-it note in the window. I put a Post-it note on my fridge. I had a reminder come up on my phone. And I would say, eating healthy is simple and I have time. And then you know what? It made it easier to take that action. And my brain looks for evidence that my thought is true. And so it was looking for evidence that it's simple and I have time. And the evidence was, yes, it literally took me 45 seconds to chop up these vegetables and throw them in the skillet and do the stir fry. Oh, eating healthy is simple and I do have time. So we need to practice that thought. It matches our action and it makes it easier to follow through. What we give our attention to increases. So you're going to slowly learn how to tell yourself a new story. And finally, as I talked about before, we need accountability and support. We need to learn how to be accountable to ourselves for what we said we were going to do. We need support along the way. We need support when we face obstacles, and we will face obstacles. And as a habit trained coach, I know how to coach you through those obstacles and give you that right level of accountability and support based on how your brain wants to do this. Self-sabotage. We have a lesson on that. It's normal, my friend, right? It will happen. It's a part of the process. So you're going to learn not to freak out when you self-sabotage and don't follow through. You're going to learn not to start telling yourself a judgmental story. You're going to get curious. You're going to recognize the different types of self-sabotage and that it's normal. When we're trying something new, even if it's a new, good, positive change, our brain still sees that as something new and feels threatened. Like, wait a minute, we're not the kind that gets up out of bed and works out. We stay in and sleep. We're not the kind that chops these vegetables. What's happening? There's danger here. So that's at a very basic level in our brain. So our brain wants to keep us safe, and it sees even positive change as threatening. So we talk about the different types of sabotage where something else always seems more important, something got in the way, you desire acceptance with a particular group, like, hey, we always eat this way, what are you doing, kind of thing. So we learn how to work through those obstacles and how not to panic when they happen and how to just go, how interesting that I said I wanted this, but I'm doing this. I wonder why. So that is your roadmap in a nutshell to having a better midlife through making lifestyle changes. You are going to slowly change the way you act and slowly change the way you think in order to reach your goals. So you're choosing a target area. You're planning an action step in that target area. You're choosing a better thought. You're getting accountability and support. You're learning how to work through obstacles, and you just repeat that over time. We're not all trying to get it in 6 weeks. We just do 6-week increments, right? So this is my target area for 6 weeks. You might have a goal in that area that might start to go well, that you add another goal, but you're staying focused. And every 6 weeks, we step back and go, how am I doing with this target area? In my program, I don't bombard you with information. It may feel like it right now, but I keep it very simple. You have a master action guide that I give you that walks you through those principles of how to form action the way your brain wants to. So my action step for the next 7 days, you simply list that. The minimum I can pleasurably commit to it. I'm going to do it 2 times. I'm going to do it for 10 minutes. What might get in the way? So you're thinking about that. How can I set myself up for success? So we're planning that out. What do I need to tell myself to make follow through easy? So that's I take care of my body. Exercising helps me feel good, whatever it might be. How will I remember to repeat that thought? So I'm going to do post-it notes, whatever. What's my accountability and support? That's easy. It's myself as your coach and our community where we help each other stay accountable. And how will I feel when I follow through? So I'm teaching you how to ask yourself these questions as you set an action step. And over time, you don't have to deliberately go through each question. You're just automatically going through that when you set an action. And this is what it looks like, right? So sometimes people fill out the form and take a picture and, plop it into the GroupMe. Sometimes people just write on a piece of paper and take a picture of it. You can be as elaborate or as concise as you want to, right? We have to keep it pleasurable. So this person said, I'm going to complete 10 minutes of mindfulness 3 times this week. I'm going to turn my phone off 30 minutes before bed, whatever works for you. We're just posting this. You can list there. Back in April, I listed my action steps. I'm going to put my fork down between bites for 3 dinners. I'm going to do weights 1 time because I wasn't really doing weights that regularly. I had been walking pretty easily 3 times a week, so I added a 4th. You can just post those steps in the group. We do a weekly progress check. We have a weekly coaching call, and then when your 7 days is done, you ask yourself another set of questions. We always start our weekly progress check with what is going well. We want to focus on the positive, right? We will talk about obstacles, but what you give your attention to increases. So what's going well? You're simply checking in. Did I follow through with my action step from last week? Did I face any obstacles? What got in the way? We're not judging. We're just getting curious. Oh, maybe I tried to do too many times. I said 5 times and I should have said 2 times. That would have been easier or whatever. We're tweaking that plan so that we can be successful the next week when we do that action step. So here's what that looks like. Just completed 1 of 3 workouts for the week. Goal is 3. Woo woo. Or as simple as someone popped in and said, meal plan created. Check. So you're just popping back into the community. This person was talking a little bit more. I did my 3 cardio. This past week I was at a work conference. So you can get elaborate or you can just pop in and say, boom, met my action step. And that's where that community is there to support you. Sometimes people pop in with pictures. So I was doing a mindful eating goal and I just took a picture of like, oh my gosh, I was taking small bites and chewing and really I got full a lot earlier than I usually do. So you don't have to post pictures, but you certainly can. I will get in and post just different things, motivational things, etc. So that's what our community looks like. I have a support guide for obstacles. When we face those, we step back and see, how important is this goal to me? Maybe you just need a new goal. Maybe it's not that much of a priority right now, and that's fine. So we have different ways to work through your obstacles, and that is Midlife Roadmap. You get habit tools. So I teach you that Midlife Success Triangle. You get those short videos, you get some handouts to use, and you get accountability and support in the form of a weekly coaching call that we do. We don't do it on Zoom. We just do old school phone calls. So you can come braless in your pajamas. It's much easier to just do this on like a group conference call. I facilitate the call. Everyone takes turns talking about their action steps with me and sharing them with the group, and I coach through any obstacles and we celebrate. We also have a group me that you can come in, and that's what I was showing you pictures of, where you're just posting your action step, posting your follow through, and we're in there supporting and encouraging each other. Here's what some people have said about my programs. Lisa, Kathy's passionate. I certainly am, but the one thing I really love that Lisa said is that celebrating all of the small successes along the way consistently reinforces even the smallest steps. And before you know it, we're celebrating the milestones. I'm helping you take tiny steps so that you can form those habits and be successful. My systematic coaching approach is simple. I promise you, it's simple and helps you consistently learn how to show up for yourself. We're not striving for perfection, but we're talking about consistent, sustainable, recognizing how to just get ourselves back into balance when we find ourselves falling out of balance with one of our areas. I'm going to teach you how to show up for yourself. That's the basic, right? How can I show up for myself? How can I have confidence to know that I can set a goal and I know how to go about achieving it? You can have a better midlife, my friend, and I am here to help you. Congratulations on taking this time for yourself to watch this video all the way through. For watching this, you are eligible, now that you know a little bit about the program, you're eligible for a free 6-week Midlife Roadmap program. Why am I doing this for free? As I said before, this is a passion project for me. This is my main way to get income. So I do charge a small fee for some things, but I want everyone to have a chance to see what this coaching's program is like, right? Because I was like, I don't even know what coaching is, right? I'm 55. So I would have been a little like, I don't know if I'm ready to lay down money for something like this. So you don't have to. I want you to be able to experience this for free. So if you're interested, you can email me at bettermidlife@gmail.com and learn how to get started. Thank you for participating in this workshop. Again, you can email me at bettermidlife@gmail.com if you'd like to get a midlife wheel or set up just a free coaching call with me, and we can just chat about things. So I look forward to hearing from you.